One of the most important pieces of equipment you will ever buy is a gun belt, because without that, everything's flopping all over the place and you cannot do any of this kind of stuff reliably. Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for watching my channel. I'm going to talk to you about gun belts today because a gun belt, although there's nothing exciting about gun belts, and so many more things, guns and knives and like that, get so much more attention. The fact is, if you don't have a solid gun belt, the fact that you bought a great gun and an outstanding holster and outstanding gear doesn't help you much, because the gun belt is the foundation of your gear. It's what holds everything in place so that you can actually use it. So I'm going to share more about this belt, where I got it, and what it is here in just a minute. But right now I'd like you to look at this screen ever so briefly. It takes too long for me to read all the names. I want you to just see the folks who have decided to join us as premium members on Patreon. We're extremely grateful for them. They're helping us to fund the channel in a time when otherwise we wouldn't have any funding at all. So if you haven't already checked out Patreon, I want to ask you to do that. You'll find a link in the description where you can help us there. You can also shop at the GunGuy TV Amazon store. That helps us. You can join Second Call Defense. That helps us. All kinds of things you can do to help us fund the channel so we can continue to do the work that we're doing for you. All right, back to the belt. This belt was sent to me as a try and evaluate, and when I got it, I went, golly, it's the strongest, toughest belt I think I've ever seen. There are certain things I look for in a gun belt, and this thing met every criteria. Now, I looked at it originally, I thought maybe it's leather, but it is not. It looks like leather. It doesn't quite feel like leather, though, but it's close. It's actually some sort of man-made material, and I'll put a link in the description so you can find out more about how it's made. There's apparently a mesh inside and everything else. But it is ridiculously strong. I think I could hook my truck up to my Jeep with it and use it as a tow rope and tow my Jeep down the road and not break the belt. The buckle on it is the heaviest, strongest buckle I have on any belt I have. It's screwed together rather than riveted together. And in general, it's just a tough belt. I think I've worn it now for about 2 months. I've carried several different guns with it. And I'm very, very, very impressed. My son's working on becoming an electrician, and I showed it to him, and he was like, okay, Dad, I got to get one of those, because he's a big guy, and he's going to be working hard and wants to have a really good solid belt. Now, here's what I look for in a gun belt, by the way. One thing is I want to make sure that it feels strong, that it looks like it's put together well, that it's built very, very well, because I don't want it to fall apart. It's got to hold my gun up, and it's got to do that under sometimes difficult conditions. That's the first thing. Second thing is, does it hold its shape? So is it flimsy or not, or does it hold its shape? This thing is not flimsy. If I bend it, it comes right back. If I bend it, it comes right back. Bend it, it comes right back. That's important to me because I want it to hold its shape. A gun belt has to be sturdy enough and stiff enough that it's going to hold the gun in the upright position. That means the gun's not going to sag away from my body. If it gets pulled away from my body, it's going to come right back. Likewise, it has to be the right width, and it has to be strong enough to hold the gun in the upright position the way that the holster is designed to hold it, whatever that cant is. So it doesn't cant farther forward or cant farther back. So when I sit down in a chair, if it pushes the gun forward, when I stand up, it's going to come right back where it belongs. Also, I want it to hold any other equipment I have. Maybe it's an extra magazine holder or something like that. It needs to hold it firmly and solidly with the gun belt. If I don't have those things, if I bought a great holster and an outstanding gun and all this other terrific equipment, and I put it on a cheapy, funky, skinny little belt, or some, the latest, greatest little web belt that everybody says, oh, this is the greatest gun belt in the world, and it's flimsy and it doesn't work. I just sent one back to a manufacturer unreviewed because it was flimsy and weak and it didn't hold the gun up straight. Well, that's not a gun belt. That's a belt, I get it, but it's not a gun belt. I know, I've carried a gun for over 37 years, almost every day of my life, and I know a gun belt when I see one. This is a gun belt, okay? And if you've got a solid gun belt, then you can know that you can draw the firearm with confidence. You know where it's going to be. It's in the right position. You know when you need your mag, you're going to be able to get it. I took this out to the range and just practiced some of the things I normally practice on the range. I shot and moved and drew and changed mags and all the kind of stuff that I do. Just for fun, for practice with me. And I've carried a gun with it now for a couple months, and I am extraordinarily impressed. This is easily the strongest, sturdiest, best made, I think, gun belt I've ever had, which is amazing. Now, I've got a link in the description so you can find out more about them. I've also got a link in the description should you want to buy one. This is called the IndestructiBelt. And I think there's a good reason for it. I'm not sure what you could do to it to destroy it. The IndestructiBelt. I had never heard of it before, but I think I'm going to get myself another one maybe in brown or something, because this is just really a terrific belt. The IndestructiBelt. Again, if you got everything else, but the belt is really awful, the rest of all the good gear you bought is pointless. You've got to make sure that you have a solid foundation. It's like building a house. You got to build the right foundation, and then you can build the house on top of it. The belt is the foundation. That's what's going to hold all your gear up. So I encourage you to check out the IndestructiBelt. There is a link in the description where you can buy them, and a link in the description where you can find out more information about them as well. I'm incredibly impressed with them. Thank you very much for watching my channel. I'm very, very grateful that you do. Have a great week. Please support us on Patreon. Go ahead and become a premium member. We do have the audio podcast that goes out the 5th and the 20th every month, only for Patreon members. Plus, we'll tell you about these kind of things before they come and show you some additional video that you don't get to see here on YouTube. All those things are on Patreon. For Patreon members only, it's premium content that you can always check out. All you have to do is sign up. And check out the GunGuy TV store. If you go to GunGuy.tv and click on Shop, you'll go to our Amazon store. We just added Spyderco knives, Gerber, Kershaw, Emerson, and some other knives to the picture. We've added also Weaver scopes, Leupold, and Nikon scopes, and some other things like that, Burris and so on. So you can check out some various different things there. And if you buy them through there, you're actually getting them from Amazon. We just get a little bit of a commission. It helps us support the channel. Again, thank you very much for watching. Please join the National Rifle Association. There's a link in the description where you can save some money and do that. And that'll make the organization stronger and add your voice to the rest of ours. Have a great week. Be safe.